Hey guys and girls, my name is Alan and in today's video I'm going to be talking about my Uncharted 4 wishlist. Now, I call it a wishlist, but it's going to be a bit more of me voicing my opinions and thoughts on things that I liked from the previous games and then didn't like from the previous games. So things that I want to see changed coming up in Uncharted 4, and obviously just talk about things that I think might be good to add to the game. The things that I'm going to say might sound like I'm ranting a little bit at the game and maybe bashing it, but I'm only doing it because I feel that passionately about the franchise and that I feel things that need to be changed or things that need to be improved. I don't say it because I don't like the game, I say it because I like the game a lot and therefore I want to see these things change so that I can enjoy the game, and hopefully if other people feel the same, then obviously, so they can enjoy the game as well. Alright, so there's quite a bit that I want to talk about, so the chances are I'm going to have to break this video down into three parts. So the three sections are going to be single player, competitive multiplayer, and cooperative multiplayer. Now in today's video I'm going to be talking about cooperative multiplayer because that is what I play the most in the Uncharted games, and while I do love the other two, I feel most strongly about cooperative multiplayer, so that's what I'm going to start with. Okay, so let's just get straight down to it. Starting off with matchmaking. In Uncharted 2, if you wanted to play the next difficulty up for co-op adventure, or co-op objective as it was called back then, you had to beat the previous one. So just like in single player, if you want to play crushing, you got to play it on hard first, and that's how it was in the multiplayer, co-op multiplayer. But they changed that in Uncharted 3, and I think they changed it probably for a good reason, because in Uncharted 2, it took a long time to try and find someone else who wanted to play on your difficulty, especially if it was crushing. And sometimes you wouldn't find a player. You'd get dumped into a game where people wanted to play on easy or normal, and that got really old really fast. So I think the voting system is a good idea in Uncharted 3, but it's still not perfect. There still needs to be some sort of a tweak, because players in theory could buy the game and then day one they might not vote for crushing, but if they get outvoted, then they'd be stuck in a crushing game. And that's not fair on them, and it's definitely not fair on the people who are trying to play crushing, with a group of players who actually know what they're doing. So I think there should be some sort of barrier before you can be put into a match where crushing, or indeed hard, is a possibility for you to play, just so that you've got the experience, and just so that the people you're playing with know that everyone in this lobby has beat at least it on hard. So we're going into crushing, and we should, it might be a challenge, but we should be okay because we've got that experience. That's how I think it should be. How they're going to implement that, I don't know, but that's just my thoughts and feelings on that. Something that really annoys me about Uncharted 3 is that when you're in the lobby and the match goes to that voting phase and picking a map and what have you, if you want to back out because maybe the difficulty is too high for you, or maybe the difficulty is too low for you, you can't do that. You have to wait until the game actually starts before you can leave. Now that is really, really, really annoying. I have no idea why that's the case. There must be a reason. I don't know why, but there must be a reason why you can't back out. And so it just wastes time, because then you got to sit through the the cutscene and what have you at the start, and then you've got to leave. And if there's only one player, if there's only one other person in the lobby, then they get dumped back into the lobby again as well. So it wastes their time as well, and I don't want to waste their time, or they don't want to waste my time. But that's just how it is. And so yeah, that needs to be fixed, please. Right, so moving on to kickbacks. Now, I'm in two minds about kickbacks. On the one hand, it is really fun to get multi-kills, with cluster nades and stuff like that. And I'm sure you've seen one or two of my co-op highlight videos. And yeah, some of the stuff that I can do with them is really fun. But at the same time, I don't know, I don't know if I want to be doing that stuff, because it kind of detracts from the whole thing. Alright, maybe in co-op arena it's suited and it works okay, but in adventure mode I really think it should be removed entirely. Tone down the bosses in both arena and adventure, and just take out kickbacks and just make it more simplistic, because being able, I don't even know where to start. This is going to open up a can of worms if I get started, but the point is, in Uncharted 2 they didn't have any of this crazy stuff, and it was fine, it was still fun. In fact, I think it's more fun because it relied on you as a person who had skill to get these kills with your gun. Whereas in Uncharted 3, you know, in some cases you need kickbacks in order to succeed, and that's not how it should be. It should be, if you're good enough with a gun, you could get through any part of any level fine. And if you needed help, then you had two teammates to help you out. But that was all the help you needed. You didn't need to call in these grenades or army of three or, you know, defender or whatever that kickback's called. I don't use it, so I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense. You know, if you're gonna put them in again, I'm hoping, I don't know, just I don't know, just tweak it a little bit, please, because it just seems out of place. Like, you wouldn't have kickbacks in the story, would you, in the campaign? So why have them in adventure mode? And that's meant to be an extension of the campaign. Well, at least that's how I feel it is, and that's how that's what I like about it. And it's not just us using kickbacks as well. I mean, I'd be happy if the bosses had their kickbacks removed as well. See, the thing about kickbacks is, I think because you've given them to the bosses, we have to have kickbacks as well. So if that means reducing the boss's capability a little bit and then taking the kickbacks away from us, then that's fine, I'm happy with that. Because in Uncharted 3, in some adventure missions, in order to progress smoothly on crushing, you kind of need kickbacks, which I feel is not right. You should be able to beat it just using normal weapons, normal explosives. And bosses, I don't know, giving them kickbacks just makes them a bit crazy. Like, cluster nade bosses, really? I mean, if they had infinite ammo, okay, that's fine, I can probably deal with that. If they have the hammer, that's fine, I can deal with that. If they have the RPG, I can deal with that. But, you know, mega bomb grenade and the cluster grenade, what is that? I just don't understand that. And so I don't know, like, I think definitely the kickbacks need to be either removed or tweaked substantially, because as it is at the moment, I don't know, like, I'd be happy if they were gone. It should be about gun skill, not about calling in these kickbacks. And talking of bosses, let's move on to the Armoured Brute, which is the guy carrying the Pack 80. Now, alright, in Uncharted 2, he was probably a bit of a pushover. On certain maps, you know, especially if maps had verticality, you could just stay up there and he couldn't get to you, and that was a bit of a lull moment, because, you know, he couldn't do anything, so he was nullified. So he wasn't basically in the match then at that point. And if you were good enough, you could take him out with just your pistol, quite easily, quite comfortably from an elevated position. And in Uncharted 3, they obviously realised that these brutes were a bit of a joke, so they ramped it up a bit. They gave him a better weapon with no spin-up time, which is fine. I can deal with that. They gave him more armor. Okay, I can deal with that. But you can't take him out unless you've got some serious ass firepower, and this firepower comes from kickbacks. Now, I've already talked about what I don't like about kickbacks, and this is one of the reasons. Why do I need a kickback to take out a brute? If I want to take out a brute on my own, I would need a kickback, because there's no way I'm shooting him all day long and getting the kill. If all three of us shot, maybe he'd go down in due course. But if I wanted to do it on my own, I'd need a kickback, and that doesn't make any sense to me. That's annoying to me, and it takes away some of the fun. I would rather he could be taken out, you know, with normal explosives and weapons, within reason. Like, I get 4 nades is probably a bit easy for a brute, so make it, I don't know, 8 nades or something like that. I don't even know how many nades it would take to take him out normally, because I don't think I've ever done it normally. It's always been a kickback or a Pack 80 that I've used to take him down. So that annoys me quite a bit. And what annoys me even more is that this dude can also run and climb. What is that? He's got all this armor, he's got a Pack 80, he can run and climb better than I can. That doesn't make any sense. So yeah, make him more lethal by all means. He needs to be a threat, he needs to be a danger. But giving him those abilities, sprinting, climbing walls, wearing all the armor, carrying that heavy weapon, no. Please no. And yeah, you should be able to take him out using your gun and explosives just normally, because it just doesn't make any sense that this guy is in the game. Alright, so speaking about gun skills, please bring back headshots. I don't understand why this was removed from co-op, to be honest. In Uncharted 2, if you've never played it, on an unarmored target, a single headshot would take them down, which I think is pretty good. Whereas in Uncharted 3, you can shoot the helmet off, but then the head still takes like 3 or 4 bullets before they go down. And probably more than that. I think I've got clips of headshots taking like nearly a whole clip, and that's not me missing. That's me landing them, but just not getting a kill. Now that doesn't make any sense to me. There has to be some sort of, I don't even want to say it, but I feel like skill should be rewarded. If you've got the aim to take off a soldier's head, you should be rewarded with an easy kill. Not an easy kill, but it shouldn't be much of a chore. Right now, as it stands in Uncharted 3, it's easier to shoot bosses and armoured targets in the thigh and put them down quicker than it is to shoot them in the head. Where's the logic in that? I mean, okay, femur artery and all that stuff, but I'm assuming that's not why they go down easily in this game. It's because, I don't know, it's like, it doesn't make any sense why headshots take more effort and reward you with less. So please, put headshots back into co-op. There needs to be a reason to aim for the head, because as it stands, there's just no reason whatsoever. And speaking of headshots, in Uncharted 2, not only could you put down enemies more easily by aiming for their head, you also carried more ammo, so it was less of a chore. But in Uncharted 3, enemies are harder to put down and you carry less ammo. What is that? Please, what is that? I know there's a kickback that gives you another clip of ammo, and there's some boosters that reward you with ammo after a certain number of kills, but really? I shouldn't have to rely on boosters or kickbacks in order to carry just a little bit more ammo, you know? An extra clip, not much to ask for. Another note I want to make about headshots, or something related to it, is that there seems to be quite a heavy emphasis on melee attacks in Uncharted 3's co-op. Now I don't know why that is, like it even tells you, once you've taken the helmet off, go in for the melee kill. What if I don't want to go in for the melee kill? What if it's too risky? Or what if it's just, it doesn't make any sense at the time? Like in Uncharted 2, once you take the helmet off, you just put another round into their forehead, and they go down. In Uncharted 3, you take the helmet off, put another round into their forehead, nothing. So you're basically forced to get into that situation where it's easier to melee an armoured target than it is to shoot him in the head, which again, makes no sense. So please, headshots to return, less emphasis on melee attacks. I don't really get why you're so big on melees in Uncharted 3's co-op. It's like, nah. As I mentioned earlier, I love getting clips in co-op because I play that quite a lot, and a lot of my clips come from chucking grenades back at enemies who originally chucked them at me. So tossing back nades is what I call it. And while it is fun and quite cool to get some of those clips, it kind of nullifies the point of the grenades. Like when an enemy throws a grenade at you, it's meant to flush you out from where you're hiding. If you can just chuck it back at them and secure a kill even, what is that? Like they're basically just giving us free grenades, which kind of really makes them pointless. Well, at least for the enemy's point of view. And this is something I want to talk about a bit more in multiplayer, but in co-op, obviously they can't chuck them back at us, but we can chuck them back at them. So it kind of defeats the purpose of enemies using nades in the first place. Furthermore, if you're playing on crushing and you melee an enemy, you get a free nade because that enemy is going to drop a martinade, and so you can chuck that martinade at his fellow companions. So not only do you get nades that are thrown at you, you can throw back. If you want a grenade, basically whenever you want, just go and melee an enemy, and then you've got yourself a free nade. I don't know, like, unless you're really novice at this game, you're always going to make use of that free nade. So while I do enjoy using those free nades, I just feel that, I don't know, like, grenades should be something to be feared of, not something to be welcomed, you know? That's just my thoughts anyway. Something that I think would be nice in Uncharted 3 co-op, and indeed in multiplayer, and I'll talk about it, I'll talk a bit more about the relevance in that section later on, is more weapon variety. Because at the moment it's just, one per category, one assault rifle, one SMG, one semi-automatic, one sniper, no shotguns that you can carry in by default. Like, would it be so hard to add just a few more? I mean, you've got the ones from previous games. Can't you incorporate those? The M4, for example, from Uncharted 2, that was really good. I assume you just renamed that to the M9 and gave it a little bit of a different recoil, but I feel like just adding more weapons would be really good. I don't know if it's a limitation on the PS3, but more weapons, more mods, and it would be really nice if you could bring back like weapon upgrades that we had for Uncharted 2 co-op. I don't know if you're trying to keep them similar in Uncharted 3 for a reason, but in Uncharted 2 you could upgrade your weapon like crazy upgrades. Okay, maybe they were way too good, but it was, it's co-op. Like no one loses out really, just the enemies, and they're all NPCs. So it's meant to be fun, and I feel like bringing that back would be cool. Not, I mean, like I can play the game without these upgrades, but having super fast reloads and stuff like that, that was good. That was fun, and you had to buy them, so it gave you something to work towards. Whereas in Uncharted 3, there's only like what 5 mods a weapon or something, and once you've bought them all, that's it. There's not a lot else you need for. Whereas in Uncharted 2, you had to upgrade each mod. Well, it was an ability back then, not a mod, but you had to upgrade each one several times before you got the max rank. So I think that would be quite good to bring back, something to work towards, especially if you play a lot of co-op. It's nice to have these things to work on. So speaking of weapons, sniper rifles. Like, this has been a problem since Uncharted 2. The Dragon Sniper is, I think it's meant to be a one-hit kill on any normal soldier, so non-armored soldier. It's meant to be a one-hit kill all the time, but I don't know what it is. Is it lag or something? But sometimes you get a hit marker, and I don't really understand that. Like, it's a bit inconsistent, because sometimes you can shoot them in the same place but you'll get hit marker, but then at other times you'll hit them there and they'll die. So I'm assuming it is lag or something like that, but can't you just increase the base damage of the sniper just a little bit more so that it's always a one-hit kill if it's meant to be a one-hit kill all the time? So speaking of weapon variety, one of the weapons they introduced in Uncharted 3 was the bolt action sniper, the T-bolt. Now I was looking forward to using this because, I'm a keen sniper. I do like my sniping, and to have new weapons to play with, that's always a good thing. And it's just a shame there weren't more weapons in other categories, but that's fine. That's maybe because of the limitations or whatever on the PS3. The problem with the T-bolt is, while it is a one-hit kill on any unarmored target, which is the same as Dragon, when you shoot an armored target in the head, it doesn't die. So it has all the drawbacks of being a bolt action sniper, slow reload and one shot before you need to rechamber, but no benefits as far as I can tell. I mean, okay, it does a bit more damage, so you can shoot a brute dead in I think like 4 shots or something like that. But if you can't shoot an armor target once in the head, then basically the only target that you're really going to use it on is a brute. So then it just makes it like a one enemy type weapon, which really, like, there's no point. I'd much rather use a dragon, and I could probably take out targets a lot quicker with a dragon than I could with a T-bolt. So while adding it was nice, it definitely needs to be changed. It needs to kill armor targets in one hit. Otherwise, there's no point having it in the game. You might as well just take it out and put something else in. Now, speaking of things that have been changed, in Uncharted 2, Riot Shields was really good. They slowed your movement down, but they would take a lot of damage, and so they were useful. They were a Riot Shield. They would do what they were supposed to do. In Uncharted 3, you can now carry them around, which I don't like. Not because if you're going to carry it around, they have to balance it. If they have to balance it, it makes it less useful. In Uncharted 3's co-op, if you pick up a Riot Shield, you lose your primary weapon, so all you've got is a secondary. And as we've discussed earlier, your carrying capacity of ammo is a lot less in Uncharted 3 than it was in Uncharted 2. So not only do you lose your primary, you have less ammo for your secondary, and the Riot Shield is not as useful as it was in Uncharted 2. So I would much rather have the Riot Shield come back as a pickup item that you use, and then once you let go, you drop it, you don't take it with you. So yeah, revert it back to being good Riot Shield and not breaking up after a few shots from the enemy, or like 2 shotgun hits, which is borderline useless. and make it so you can't carry it. So make it good, but I understand if you have to make it so that you can't carry it around with you. I'm fine with that. Because to lose your primary in place of the Riot Shield, I I don't know. It's just I don't think the trade-offs were worth it. And to be honest, I would rather it wasn't something you could carry around, because it's just I don't know, like it doesn't fit with the theme of Uncharted. I mean, we're not playing Modern Warfare here. You know what I mean? So there's no need to be able to carry it around like a primary weapon.